Okay. All right. So I hear they're making a Yoda movie, or a series of movies. And I gotta admit, as a Star Wars fan, I'm a little skeptical because I feel like I'm gonna get one of two things. I'm either going to get Attack of the Clones Yoda, where it's a gremlin jumping around with a glow stick, or I'm gonna get the slow burn Empire Strikes Back Yoda that is a better supporting cast member than he is a main character. Now, Yoda in general, I think, cannot be a main character. He's too strongly written as a supporting cast member to even get his own movie. Because I think when it comes to a protagonist that we have to care about and follow through a movie or a series of movies, we have to grow with them. Yoda's already 800 years old by the time we meet him. So if they did an origin story, it would go back before really anything mattered. And then we'd be given another, I think, pointless origin story that we don't need. I know everyone wants it, but I mean, sometimes it's better to let things just kind of be unanswered. I mean, look at Christopher Nolan, what he does with his movies. Sometimes he doesn't even acknowledge these past things, he just moves on. And that's what I think these Yoda movies should do. But regardless, even if they gave us a Yoda movie, if they had to give me a movie that that I cared about Yoda in, I think it would either have to be Yoda's training of Luke, where in Rogue One we're given a CGI Mark Hamill, or maybe we could throw in some sort of actor that looks like Mark Hamill, a young Mark Hamill. And the only reason I mentioned that is because there's a post on Instagram going around where we see Sebastian Stan and Mark Hamill side by side, and they look exactly alike. So that would be really cool. But it doesn't matter. I think they should, if they're going to make a Yoda movie or a series of movies, it needs to at least touch on more of Luke's training, mainly between episode 5 and 6. So I would hope if they were to make a trilogy, that the in between of 5 and 6 would be almost the final one. And maybe our second one would be Dagobah Yoda, and he sees Luke's X-Wing crashing and goes through all that, and when Luke leaves, maybe Yoda follows behind him or something like that to see what's going on, or maybe something, or maybe even if these movies were never even touched on the original trilogy Yoda, if say we were given a pre-existing Yoda, or excuse me, a origins, if you will, Yoda, where he's on Dagobah. See, I don't want anything pretty much of Yoda before Dagobah, because by the time he's talking to Luke, he talks about him being 800 years old and things like that. That's what I want Yoda to always be. I always want Yoda to be the wise one with the answers, and he's the master at all points. I never want to see the Yoda that I know and love as a student. That's the whole thing. I don't want him to be a learner. I want him to always be the master. So that's where I think we should keep him. And if there's any movies, he should always be the master. But if we had to make something in a storyline that doesn't exist, and we had to go, okay, Yoda's the main character, I guess I would do it almost like they did Empire Strikes Back, where there's a Jedi who is being hunted by Vader, post Revenge of the Sith, or post, prequels, and he comes up to Yoda. He's one of the remaining few, and he's seeking guidance and help. And then he and Yoda go on an adventure to either stop Vader, to sabotage something, to find an old Jedi relic or hologram or something that will help them in the times of tribulation and things like that, trials and tribulations. I don't know. I mean, there's a million things they could do, but I know what I don't want, and I don't want a Yoda love story, an origin story of him being a child with millions of other creatures that are like him. And I know in the Star Wars universe there's only been Yoda and I think her name's Yaddle. I think those were the two species those were the two people who were Yoda's species. And I mean, really, I don't even care what happens to Yaddle. But if they kept Yoda as his one and only species, I think it does something that it would still keep him special to us. But if you were to introduce a whole world where they were all miners or something, or all these little green people, I think it would take away what one thing is special about Yoda is he's one of a kind. You don't see anything like him in the universe. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the things I really like about Yoda. And so yeah, I mean, if they were to make a Yoda movie or a series of Yoda movies, this is what I want to see. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, leave a comment, leave something. You know, I want to see what y'all think. Do you agree with me? Am I crazy? Should I not make any more of these stupid videos? But anyway, all right.